The University of Benin boasts of different resources: a water factory, a bakery, even a popularly well-known bookshop which serves as a retail bookstore center for students of the institute. However, in Ekehuan campus, an affiliate of the mother campus of the institution, its appearance makes every visitor call it an art gallery or museum center. This is as a result of the different kinds of sculptural graving images and pieces mounted at designated areas of the campus. Like a picture which surprisingly tells 1,000 words, there are still unmovable elements in the citadel whose true potentials are enormous but are still underestimated by students and staffs alike. Statues. Statues are great. They are fun to gist on. Take pictures. And also a side attraction for new students. But apart from the fun and cruise, what do these sentinels really stand for or represent? Let's take a look at the statue restoration by an ex-student of the University of Benin, Ekehuan campus. In a bid to find out random views from students about what they think the statue restoration represents, we took to the streets of the University of Benin. Hear what the students had to say.
From my own point of view, I feel like it's like a joint effort of all individuals in the state or Nigeria, or a process of we, the public, trying to restore the country. Because for me, this thing looks like the map of Nigeria. So it's like a collective effort of all Nigerians to restore the country, even through its trying states.
First and foremost, looking at the theme of the statue restoration, I think it means, or rather, it represents one man trying to lift the burden of Nigeria. But obviously he can't because it looks like he's in distress. So I just think he's just trying to do it on his own, which is not possible. Which could be
actually I don't have an idea because I don't have any basis or foundations as regards this statue or sculpture as it were. Because I'm not a fine artist, neither am I anything related to this, so I don't just know about it at all.
What do you think this statue represents?
According to what the sculptor did, he named it restoration. A man lifting the Nigerian flag, as in it represents Nigeria. But as you can see, this is not a one man's work. At least it needs group efforts. To restore Nigeria, you need ideas from different places, other people to join hands. Like now, it's the energies that he's using, so he cannot even.
I think the statue represents the struggles of Africa at large. can see the struggles. You can see this man carrying this thing. I think it represents, the struggles about pulling Africa together and everything, making it a great, what do I call it? Making it a great continent. But yeah, the struggles is we could not lift it. That is, it cannot be done by a particular country or nation. So it has to be joint effort. I don't think there is another person here trying to pull it. By the time you know it, it will have standing. That's from my own view.
It is no doubt of a truth that attributing a symbolic meaning to statues can be a very tasking duty, especially if you are not the original creator of the statue. Therefore, aiming to get an authoritative view about what restoration truly symbolizes, we met with the statue's actual designer and creator in the person of Mr. Michael Ehigbai, an ex-student of the University of Benin.
My name is Michael Ozoya. I'm a visual artist and I practice sculpture. Why I do sculpture is honestly from the very start. I've always been into art. I love drawing a lot. So sculpture is just a part of drawing, but actually interpreted in forms. So it's a part of me from birth. So up till now, I still practice sculpture and I feel it's the only thing I can do. Yes, of course. The major challenge that I faced was initially I got into University of Benin to do graphics because of my love for comics. I love comics a lot. But by the time I got into school, by my 200 level, I discovered that sculpture was the most tedious for me. I couldn't cope with it. By 100 level, 200 level, plastic design, I got low scores. So I wanted to attack my weak point. So when the time came to my area of specialty, I actually chose sculpture first, which was my weakest, and next was painting. But I wasn't so cool with painting because I wasn't comfortable with it. I feel if I study painting, it would just be another regiment. So sculpture was it for me. Sculpture was created in 2015. Okay, the purpose of my final year project was, the title is restoration. The philosophy behind that work is, as a country, Nigeria as an entity, we are diverse, right? We are diverse people living in one geographic location, and definitely we cannot all agree at the same time. Now, since the birth of Nigeria has been plunging, right? And we have always been waiting for a messiah to save Nigeria. Just one messiah to save Nigeria. And we are forgetting that we all together, we are the ones that can save Nigeria. Collaboration of different parts, as we are diverse, coming together to work together, we can actually save Nigeria. That's the restoration. That's where the restoration comes into. Yes, there were challenges. The first major challenge was finance. As at that time, I was completely broke in school. There was no money, and I made an estimate to produce my sculpture. My estimate was 150,000 to produce the sculpture. So as at that time, I had nowhere to get money from, so I started making drawings inside of school, taking them outside to sell. That was how I got some finance. Then I actually got some from home. Then the concept was another challenge, to come up with that concept. The first concept I came up with was actually a man standing on top of the map of Nigeria with a chain wrapped around the map of Nigeria, and he was pulling that chain, trying to save Nigeria while he was standing on it. But my project supervisor told me that this sculpture is not going to last. It's going to collapse because of balance. There was no balance. I was looking more at movement, but forgetting balance. So he told me it would collapse. I should come up with something else. And that period was so tight for me. My final year exhibition was closed. I had 2 weeks to exam my final exam. And I was still working on my market for my project. So I just had to come up with something, and that was the best idea I came up with. When I came up with, I actually did not show him the clay work. I actually made a cast, showed to my project wife. I said, okay, this is your project, go and execute. Now, if you see, the map of Nigeria is tilted to one side, right? Now, the way the map of Nigeria is in a position where it has no balance. The bottom of the map, which is the southern part of Nigeria, is not enough to hold the map of Nigeria standing. So we could say, out of corruption over time, the oppression, nepotism, all of that has actually made the country tilt to one side and is resting on its side. Now, the individual there that is trying to pull the map of Nigeria to a standing point represents all of the different tribes, the different ethnic groups that are in Nigeria. As you can tell, with the human body parts, they are all different. The legs are different, the arm are different, the chest, the head, they are all different. But they are working together as one unit, right? It's the same way that one man is trying to pull the map of Nigeria up, but not just one man, it's just one man with different body parts. And the different body parts are working in unison to pull the map of Nigeria up. That's the philosophy behind the whole work, that different ethnic groups, different people from different tribe, gender, ethnicity are coming together to work together to bring the restoration of Nigeria.
Just like every other statue which aids to interpret meanings, restoration is one which shows the failing state of Nigeria, with the rescuer and savior trying to move the country back to its initial position of lost glory. Statues are subtle communicators of love, joy, experiences, and events. They are figures that personify cardinal virtues such as prudence, justice, fortitude. They preach theological virtues such as faith, hope, and charity. The durability of statues and sculptures makes it an ideal medium for commemorative purposes. And much of the world's greatest sculpture has been created to perpetuate the memory of persons and events alike. So when next you see a statue, do well to say an hello. They may respond back to you in many ways.
Yes, I want to say this. Now, for the essence of the whole documentary, my project is restoration. I've always been interested in history. I read a whole lot of history. And if you check from the birth of Nigeria, okay, let's say from when it was amalgamated in 1914, the essence of which Nigeria was created was not actually known by Nigerians. The essence was known by the colonial masters. You discover that as at that time, after Nigeria was being amalgamated, the people who worked close hand with the British were exalted. Now, the three major ethnic groups, by the time we got our independence, they were fighting solely for their ethnicity, not for the general good. We had a prime minister then who was fighting solely for the north. We had a president that was fighting solely for the east. Then we had a strong man from the west who was fighting solely for the west. In less than 6 years, there was civil war already, because we did not see ourselves as one. We still saw ourselves as different units. And up till now, that is still happening. When you discover that even in the north, something different is going on. In the west, something else. And the eastern part of Nigeria now is almost in turmoil, where people cannot even go out anymore. They now restrict them to their houses. So you discover that even at all of this, the essence of art per se is non-verbal. It's non-verbal communication. And all of the struggles we are going through are being told. These stories are being told every day, but we do not see them. Solutions are being given every day, but we overlook them. Right? So in that case, verbal communication, non-verbal communication, written, they are all part of us. So we just have to find a way to address our issues with this. Pay more attention. The more attention we pay to it, the better we will become. The better we will become. Because if we continue at this pace, years from now, the geographic location that is being called Nigeria will not exist anymore. In a nutshell, it's high time we stop being selfish. We should just stop being selfish and have that compassion for the next man, for the next individual, and let us work in unison to make the country a better place.